Hello and welcome to the Covert Knits podcast. My name is Abigail Covert. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my podcast where I talk all about my knitting and yarn and fibery adventures, so thank you for taking a moment to check it out. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for sticking out the long hiatus of this podcast and for coming back for episode 22. And if you are new to the channel and just checking out my podcast, thanks for stopping by. My name again is Abigail Covert. It is Saturday, It's February. It's February 27th, 2021, and I'm coming to you from Omaha, Nebraska. I hope wherever you are today that things are going well. So let me just go through a few things. I do have show notes because it's been so long since I recorded anything. Let's go over the rundown for this episode. I'll talk a little bit about what I'm wearing. I have finished objects. I have 12 of them. 11 here to show you, one I've already gifted. I have 4 whips. I have 2 months worth of stash enhancement, so that section will be long. I'll let you know before I get started, so if anybody wants to check out before then, that's fine. And then we'll just do a tiny little bit of chat at the end about my knitting goals and things like that, and that should wrap us up. It probably will be a long episode just because as I said, I have 12 FOs and quite a bit of stash enhancement. So grab your drink. Mine is my Diet Dr. Pepper today, and your knitting or your crocheting or whatever you're crafting on, and let's get started. So first, what I am wearing, this is actually part of my stash enhancement or my acquisitions section, but I bought this shirt from the Lola Bean Yarn Company. I'll stand up here so you can see it. There's the Lola Bean Yarn Co. And that's little Lola, proud Lola. I love this. I love Lola Bean Yarn Co. I try to buy their yarn whenever I can. Adela is, somebody I really respect in this community, that she is an amazing maker, but she also is has very strong values that she sticks with, including in her business, which I think is really important and something that we all should strive to do. So when I saw this shirt go up for sale, I just happened to see it on Instagram the second she posted it, so I ran right over, ordered the shirt. This is, I believe, a limited edition. I'm not sure if it's still available on our website, but everything that I talk about today, or as much as everything as I can remember, will be linked in the show notes, which are in the description box below this video here on YouTube. And I always forget to say this, you can find me on Instagram as @covertknits and as on Ravelry as Covert Knits. Again, I'll have put that down here at the bottom of the screen for you. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing. That's the easy one. Next, we're going to go to FOs. And I have a stack of them here to show you. Boop. Okay. So let's start here. These are not in the order that I finished them. They're just kind of in the order that I'm grabbing them here. So these are one of the older ones that I have to show you. So I'll show these both at the same time. 2 sets of socks. Okay, so these were made for the Gilmore Along 2020 that I hosted with Beth over from MD Quilter, the MD Quilter Knits podcast. Last fall. It ended in December. We have drawn prizes for that. I think I've reached out to everybody who I pulled prizes for, and I think I've heard back from everybody. So if you took part in the Gilmore Along 2020, thank you so much for joining us for that make-along. It was a lot of fun. I did finish a few hats, and then I had these pairs of socks, but they did not get finished during the make-along. Okay, so the pattern is Mina's 2 at a Time socks by the Knitting Expat Designs, Mina Phillip. The yarn I used is Knomatic-Knits. I have a box here filled with yarn scraps and labels, so let's see if I can find the labels for these. I thought I would be more prepared today, but you know what they say. Okay, here's one of the labels. This is, it's Nomadic Yarns, not Nomadic Knits. And it's the Trusty Sock Base, which is 462 yards, 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. So this colorway is I Smell Snow. And this colorway is Oi with the Poodles already. Again, it's the same pattern for both. I do cuff down, 64 stitches, and German short row, it's not an afterthought heel, German short row heel, and a somewhat rounded toe. All of that is included in the Mina's 2 at a time sock pattern. That is a free pattern. Mina also has a vanilla sock pattern that's similar, but is paid for because you get a more detailed heel information with it, with some adjustments that she has made, that she has written about, and just a little bit more detail in the paid for pattern. So that is those. Again, these were knit on 2.5 millimeter US 1.5s. Sorry, I had to think about it for a second. Free pattern, trusty sock, Magic Yarns. Okay, I think that's everything I was going to say about this. I love them. These will probably both be for me. I don't think I'll gift either of these. I was surprised at how much I really enjoyed the stripes on this one. For the heels, I did use some leftovers. I just used some leftover black Knit Pick Stroll for the heels on that one. The heels on this one, I had a skein of, get it here. Okay. This is the Loopy U Solid series from the Loopy U website. And this is colorway Milk Chocolate. And it was a 220 yard skein of fingering weight, 100% superwash merino. So I used that as a little bit of that as my heel. Okay, so that is projects 1 and 2 of 12. Let me flip my show notes pages here. Okay, project 3 is another pair of socks. These were actually recently finished. These were my Valentine's Day socks. I haven't worn them yet, but I did get them finished by Valentine's Day. I don't really like Valentine's Day as, you know, a commercial holiday, but I do like the colors. And I like, you know, celebrating those around you that you love, whether it's romantic or friendship or family or whatever. So that I can get behind that idea. So I knit these up. This pattern is the London B.Ridge socks, also by Knitting Expat Designs, Mina Phillip. It is a paid for pattern. The yarn is from a dyer that no longer dyes. It is from GnomeAcres. I do have that one here. She does not dye anymore, but you might be able to find some of her yarn in D-stashes. It's GnomeAcres. And it was her fingering sock. Sparkle Gnome is the base because it's got some sparkle in there. I don't know if you can, oh yeah, you can see it a little bit. And then the colorway was I Lurve Ewe, spelled there, it's listed out there for you. And this is what I had left of the skein. And this yarn is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% sparkle power. So I love these socks. I love the little bit of garter ridge detail that the London B.Ridge socks has. Again, I just used the German short row heel that's included in the pattern and the semi-rounded toe. 64 stitches cuffed down. I use the same needles, 2.5 millimeter US 1.5s on these as well. And they're just so fun. And I will wear them even when it's not Valentine's Day. Okay, so that is project 3, pair 3 of the socks. Next, I will go to a couple of gift knits that I've knit that I know these will be gifts. I don't always know that my projects are going to be knits, gift knits, excuse me. Sometimes I just enjoy knitting a project, and when I'm finished with it, I think, oh, this would be perfect for this person, or, oh, I love this, I'm going to keep it. But these are specifically knit as gifts. I had set kind of a goal for myself every year, actually, but this year so far I'm kind of sticking to it, of knitting 12 sets of dishcloths. A set is either 2 or 3 depending on the yarn I'm using. Dishcloths that I would have ready by the end of the year to gift for the holiday season. So I have knit 2 sets. So this is projects 4 and 5. The first is, they're both the same pattern. It's the Chinese Waves Dishcloth by Margaret Radcliffe. Again, it will be linked below. There is a set of 2 here. I love this pattern. It's a lot different than the Grandma's Favorite dishcloths that a lot of people use. I really enjoy the wave texture on this one. I like that they're square and not on the diagonal. Okay, I used Knit Picks Dishy Multi, and let me see if I have any kind of tag for that. I do. Here's the, this is an old tag. It's actually now, these multicolored skeins are called Dishy Multi. You can find them on their website. They have different colors. So this color, well, first, this is a worsted weight. It's 100% cotton, 190 yards per 100 grams. So I can get 2 dishcloths out of it. And then I usually have just a tiny little bit left over. This is what I have left over of the second color that I'll show you here. So this color is Red Rover. And then this next project, these were the ones I knit in January. These were the ones I knit here in February. This one is called Beachfront. I love the calming colors. And I don't know why, but every one I do of these, it kind of stripes on the one side, but then it's broken stripes on the other side. And every one that I do out of the Dishy Multi is like that. So apparently my tension is spot on. My gauge is the same on all of them. So this is a free pattern. I will link to it. I use US 7's 4.5 millimeter needles. It's a 4-row repeat. I do, to use up the Dishy Multi for one skein of theirs, to get 2 out of it, I do 22 repeats of the pattern before I bind off for each one. And then that gives me just that little bit left. I dropped one, so let me grab that. Don't like to leave things on the floor here with lots of animals in the house. Okay, so those are projects 4 and 5. And a few gift knits done for next season. Okay, next we're going to move into hats. So the first hat I have is the Sockhead Slouch hat, which is becoming one of my favorites. It's such a great pattern. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's free. It uses up a skein of fingering weight yarn. Maybe, you know, that skein that you don't want to use on your feet, or you can't find the perfect shawl pattern or shawlette pattern for. So this yarn, again, the Sockhead Slouch hat by Kelly McClure. The yarn is Query Fiber. The self-striping Super Sock is the base. And the colorway for this was Sock Monkey. I bought this, I think, back in 2016, so I'm not sure if it's a color she still dyes, but I did link her shop below, so you can check it out. So here is the hat. I bought this specifically to make a Sockhead Slouch hat. That was always the intention. I used the size, I used US 2.5 3 millimeter needles, which is the size called for in the pattern. I did make the I did make the medium size. This hat pattern has, I think, 8 sizes or something like that, from baby to adult large or extra large. And she says in the pattern notes that the medium is what the original was knit off of, so that's what I used. And I still have quite a bit of yarn left. So this is what I have left. I have the tag right here, so I'll show you that. Again, this is Query Fiber Arts. Ooh, that's not gonna work. 2 hands, Abigail, 2 hands. Okay. And Sock Monkey. So you can see there it's a 75-25 merino nylon, 463 yards. And again, that's what I have left. I love it. I was planning to keep this for myself, but several people have mentioned interest in it, so we'll just have to see. Oh, I might wear that. Okay, so that was project 6. Project 7 is another hat. This one was another Valentine's Day project that I decided to do. This one is the Coffee Talk Toque by Tracie Millar of the Grocery Girls. I just love it. It's one of my all-time favorite hats that I've ever knit. The pattern was really simple, easy to memorize. It's based off of, she has a Coffee Talk socks, and then she made a hat pattern to go with it, a toque pattern. So the yarn I used here is Yarn Ink. And this is her merino nylon sock base, 75/25, 463 yards. And I'm throwing things on the ground. This is what I have left. I have a lot left. This is a DK weight hat pattern. That is a fingering weight skein. I held it double and I knit the size medium. The colorway was Crime Skein. It's supposed to look like blood spatter. And I have a weird sense of humor, so I did it for Valentine's Day. I knit it using US 4s, 3.5 millimeter for the brim, and US 6, 4 millimeter for the body, which is what it's called for in the pattern. It is a paid for pattern. The pom-pom I purchased from the Grocery Girls Knits website. They sell pom-poms made by Yarn Bowler. They are the kind of pom-poms that have the rubber stopper and the grosgrain ribbon, so you can tie them on and they can be removed, so you can wash your hats. And I just love it. I'll show it to you on here. Ooh. There we go. I like this hat because, well, I knit it for Valentine's Day. You could definitely wear it, you know, in all of winter. Be a great holiday hat. You could change out the pom-pom if you wanted to. Anyway, it's great. I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend. This was the first of Tracie's patterns that I tried, but I definitely won't be the last. Okay. So that's done with hats. Let's move on to child sweaters. Kind of have categories here this week. Okay, this is my Flax Light child. This is a pattern by tincanknits. It is a free pattern. I knit the 6 to 12 month size. They have 0 to 4X, adult 4X in this pattern, so it's a very size inclusive pattern. Again, it's free, so it's a great beginner pattern, and it's a top down raglan. I used Gauge Dieworks. Let's see if I can find what I used. I used Gauge Dieworks, one of my favorite dyers. And this is it's her merino twist base in the sweater put up. This is what I have left. So this yarn is dyed this way. It's dyed to start stripe a child-sized sweater in the yoke so that the stripes are all similar sizes, and then the rest of the skein is all one color. And then I did purchase, but I didn't end up using or maybe it comes with it, I can't remember, but it has like essentially a matching mini skein at the bottom that you could have used for cuffs and hem, but I chose to just go with the all blue on this one, and I will use that for cuffs or in socks or something like that. So okay, so what did I say here? 6 to 12 month size. Oh. I knit it using the needles it calls for, US 2 for the ribbing. It's a 2.75 millimeter, a US 5 for the body, which is 3.75 millimeter. Again, it is a free pattern. This is a baby gift for a friend who hopefully will be gifted this today, and the baby's due this week. So, yeah, it turned out really well. It's one of my favorites. I've had this yarn in stash for a while, but she did just do an update. Gauge Dieworks did just do an update last week, and she had more of this yarn in a different colorway in the update, and I purchased them. Haven't seen it yet because I just ordered it just a couple days ago, and it's coming from Canada. But if you haven't knit the Flax or the Flax Light yet, it has this fun garter panel down the shoulder and the sleeves. I like that detail. And then the rest is just stockinette. This is a great beginner pattern. I oftentimes, if somebody asks me for a beginner sweater pattern, I always suggest the tincanknits. You can knit it. They have the Flax Light. They have the Flax, which is knit and worsted. And again, they're size 0 to 6 months to 4X adult. So a huge range. So you could try knitting a top-down sweater for a child or someone you love that's smaller, using, you know, less expensive yarn, and it wouldn't break the budget, and you could get some sweater experience. Okay, So that's sweater number 1. It's project 8. And sweater number 2 is, speaking of the flax, is the worsted weight flax in the 4 to 6-year-old size. Again, this is a pattern by tincanknits. It's a free pattern. This one is free as well. It's the same exact pattern as the other one I just showed, just in the worsted weight size, or weight. And this is the 4 to 6-year-old size. I think it's a little short for the person I'm giving it to, but the person I'm giving to is just turning 3, but they are tall for their age, so I like them to be able to wear their sweaters longer. I'd rather have a child size sweater be too big than too small because they can grow into it. I used Juniper Moon Farm yarn. The base was Gabriella. I'd had it in stash for a long time. I think it may be a discontinued yarn because I bought it on the sale rack at one of my LYS's years ago, and I've never seen it anywhere else. But it is a nice yarn. It is, here's the tag for it. And it is super fine recycled merino wool. It is 204 yards for 100 grams, 100% wool. So again, it's a good worsted weight. And this is what I had left. I used 2 colors. I used the red and the black because I had 2 balls of the red and 1 ball of the black. This is what I have left of each. So I probably will make a child size hat out of the leftovers of this for next Christmas for a child. So that is the Flax by tincanknits. It's free pattern, 4 to 6-year-old size. US 6 4mm, US 8 5mm, 6 for the ribbing, 8 for the body. Those are the needles I used on this one. I just striped. I did the black for the cast on at the collar. Then I switched to the red until I split for the sleeves. And then when I started the body, I started doing the stripes. I just did 4 rows of black and then switched to 8 rows of red and did that all the way down. And then part of the reason it's as short as it is I would have needed to do another 12 rows to do the repeat, and I wasn't sure I had enough yarn for that before I did the bottom hem. And then I just didn't do any striping on the sleeves and just did the black at the cuff. And that's not in the pattern. That was just me trying to make my yarn stretch. This size called for, I think, 500 yards of yarn. I had 600 altogether, but only 400 of the red, so I needed to use the black to stretch it. So. Okay. All right, the final category for the last 2 projects, or 3 projects, are stuffies, which I have raged about in knit group that I don't like knitting stuffies, and then I knit them all the time. So just ignore everything I say. The first is this cute little monster called Coco the Canister Monster. This is from a book. I don't think the pattern is available on its own on Ravelry, but you might be able to find the book at your local library or a used bookstore, and I think it might still be available on Amazon. The book is The Big Book of Knitted Monsters by Rebecca Danger. But this monster is called Coco the Canister Monster. They each have different names. This one is knit using Cloud 9 fibers, Bonotto. I'm a hot mess today. Cloud 9 fibers, Bonotto. This colorway is called Tangelo. This is what I have left. It used hardly any. This is I'd say it's an Aran weight yarn. It is 90% wool, 10% alpaca, 175 yards. So definitely an Aran, almost a bulky. Definitely an Aran. So this is the little guy. I knit the size small. The monsters in the book are all knit in the any gauge method. What she talks about in the book, you essentially pick your yarn and then pick a needle size, the recommended needle size for that yarn. So for this yarn, the recommended needle size is a US 8 to 10 for this yarn. So the book tells you to pick a needle size 2 to 3 sizes smaller than the recommended needle size to get it so that it's a tight enough weave so that your stuffing doesn't come out. So I used a US 6, which is a 4mm on this one. And I bet I used 40 yards of this yarn. I knit this guy in 3 hours. He was very fast. Let's see, what else? I just used some leftover black fingering weight to embroider on the mouth, which I didn't do great. And then I used safety eyes, which I have a stash of that I just purchased at Joann's or something like this. I like these because they're the blue, and I thought that worked with the orange. So this is a gift to go with the recipient of the little red and black flax, whose birthday is tomorrow. So my little nephew, Jackson. So this is his little cocoa. Okay, the last two projects, I only have one of them here to show you. It's the same project, just different colors. Get some things here. Okay, so this one is, I've made this project before. This is the Lovable Toys, the bear version. It is in the book Last Minute Knitted Gifts by Joelle Hoverson. So I've always attributed the pattern to her, but when I look it up on Ravelry, you have to get the book from either a website, or you have to get the pattern from either a website or the book, and it attributes the pattern to Marion Edwards. So I'm not sure which, but the book is Last Minute Knitted Gifts by Joelle Hoverson, and it's the Lovable Toys, and there's 3 options. There's a bear, there's a bunny, and there's an elephant. I've knit all 3, but I tend to knit the bear because then I don't have to knit the trunk or the ears. All of the bodies are the same, and you just make differences on the head. Okay, I used, the yarn I used for this is Frog Tree Sport Melange. Frog Tree I don't think is even in business anymore, but my local yarn shop has a whole bunch of the Frog Tree Sport Melange in stock, and I stocked up on it. Every time I buy from them, I order a couple skeins of that to keep in my stash, because I knit these little bears all the time. So this one I knit in, you hold 2 colors together. So this one was held together using a green and a taupe. This is the ball of the 2 left. So it's 1 skein of each. The skeins are 50 grams. Let's see if I can find a, here's a label. So yeah, it's 100% alpaca. It's a 50 gram, 128 yards. And then you use two 50 gram balls, held them together. This is what's left of both balls together. I just wind it up at the same time because you're holding them double. It's knit on US 6s. This is a little toy for the recipient of the blue and rainbow sweater. It was knit, yeah, US 6, 4mm. Same with the safety eyes that I bought at Joann's. I just embroidered using a little bit of leftover black fingering weight. And yeah, that's that one. I knit another one of those. I'll put a picture up here that I've already been gifted to my little nephew Jackson. He had one that I knit for him last Christmas in the same colors, which is this, it's a rust and then a brown that I held together. It's the same yarn, Frog Tree Sport Melange, in rust and brown. Again, the picture's up here. I knit this for him last year at Christmas, 2019 Christmas, and he unfortunately lost him, or he went on vacation, as we like to say, and he was his favorite nighttime stuffy. So I had to do an emergency reknit, and luckily I still had more yarn in those colorways, so I could reknit Mr. Bear for him and get him sent over right away. I didn't want to hold that for the podcast, so he has already been on his way to his new home and is being very loved by the recipient. So, okay. That's it. That's 12 finished objects in the 2 months, little over 2 months since I came to you guys to podcast last. So that's exciting. Let us move on to whips. I only have 4 whips, which I think is fine. Some of them you've seen before, some of them are new. I think 2 you've seen before and 2 are new. So the first one we'll talk about is the Longline Cardigan by Joji Locatelli, which was a Christmas gift for my mom. If you watch my previous episode, I talked about that a little bit. This was a Christmas gift for my mom. It's obviously not finished yet. She has seen it. I did wrap it up on needles and gave it to her at Christmas. I have put a little bit of work on it since then. She loved it. She's very excited about it. It's a fingering weight sweater on size 4 needles, and it's just not going very quickly. So this is what I have. It has a collar, shawl collar, that you knit on with it, so you don't have to pick up for the shawl collar after. You work the 2 sides and then join for in the round, excuse me. And then, so there's the sleeves, there's the shawl collar working down the front. Turn it around so you can see I'm fading this. It does not call for a fade, but I am fading this. And this is where I'm at. I'm just starting to fade in color 5 of 6. So I am using Sweet Georgia Yarn Tough Love Sock in a gradient fade that they had on their website. I don't think they have it anymore, but I think they still have all these colors so you could make your own fade. The colorways from top to bottom are Ice Flow is the lightest. Then we go into Snowfall, and then Silver, and then Slate is this one, this variegated one right here. And then I'm just now getting into Charcoal, and then there's one more that's a true black at the bottom called Cauldron that I'll add in. So those are the 6 colors. It's a light gray to black fade. Again, it is knit using US 6s. No, that's not right. It is US 4s, 3.5 millimeter. And I think the ribbing on the cuffs for the sleeves will be US 2.5, 3 millimeter. I am knitting the 44-inch bust. Again, this is being made for my mother. It is a paid for pattern, and it's a Joji Locatelli pattern. I'm enjoying it. I just need to get back to it. I'm in the increases for the waist shaping. The rows are very long. It's fingering weight, and I just haven't had the brain capacity. I've been knitting lots of little projects, as you can see. But I will get this done. Okay, so that, excuse me, that is being housed in my Quiet Queers Craft Along tote. I have a little Muffy the Beaver pin from Grocery Girls on there. Okay, so that is whip number 1. Whip number 2 is my dad's Christmas present, also a sweater, which I've made quite a bit of progress on this one. So this one is the Gramps by tincanknits. It's a cardigan. I am knitting this using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted. My goodness. Wool of the Andes worsted. This one is Colorway Welly's Heather. And I have the entire body and both sleeves done. Still have to weave in ends on this one. I just need to pick up for the collar and then do the afterthought pockets. So it's a big comfy sweater. Again, because this is a paid for pattern, but because it's a tincanknits, it's super size inclusive. It goes from 0 to 6 months to 4X. I am knitting the adult 2XL size. It is knit on size US 7s, 4.5 millimeter. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. This is a great sweater. It's a great pattern. I want to knit one for myself once I get this one done for my dad. Maybe in a gray, a lighter gray. This is kind of a charcoaly gray with the tweed. I love the tweed. So this is a non-superwash yarn. My dad will love it. He's seen it as well. He tried his on. It did fit. So at Christmas. So I'm excited to be able to get that over to him. Hopefully those will both be done here soon. This is being housed in my sweater size bag from the Bearded Pearl. There's the tag right there. Sweater size bag from the Bearded Pearl. Check them out. I love their bags. Okay, so that is whip. Sorry if that shook the camera. Whip number 2. Whip number 3 is a new one for you guys. It's also being housed in a Bearded Pearl bag. This one I've had for ages and ages. This is a shawl. I haven't cast on a shawl in a really long time. I'm not sure why, but I just haven't been in a shawl mood, but I really love this shawl, and it's something I've wanted to knit for a long time. So this is the Sikhi Shawl by Dawn Henderson. And it is a half twisted rib shawl the whole way through. So lots of ribbing, lots of twisted ribbing, but I love how it looks. So this is a very meditative shawl. I don't expect this will fly off my needles. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not rushing through it. I just do one repeat every so often and really enjoy it. So I am knitting this using this beautiful yarn, which you can see has lots of sparkle in it. So this is Anzula Nebula, which is an 84% merino, superwash merino, 16% sparkling stellina, and the colorway on this one is penny, as in copper penny. And I love it. So the pattern calls for 2 skeins, so I've got 2 skeins of that wound up. This is a free pattern on Dawn's website. I will have that linked in the show notes below. So it is a free pattern, so please check it out. It's Sikhi, Dawn Henderson. It's a great pattern. I'm really enjoying it. Very meditative. It'll be nice and big. You'll use 1.5 of the skeins of the yarn, and then once you've gone through the half of the second skein, you will bind off, and then it calls for tassels. You can either do tassels along the edge, as in the picture that I showed, or tassels on the corners, however you want to do it. Or you don't have to tassel. You could certainly use more of the yarn and knit the shawl a little bit bigger. So, okay, so that is whip 3, my Sikhi shawl. Let's see, that is on US 5s, 3.75 millimeter, just the needles that the pattern called for. And lastly, I need a sip here. Water in this one. In my Whimsy Stitches bag, which is my favorite sock bag, I have Quiet Queer's Craft Along, Sock Toque, from the Grocery Girls, my Yarn Ovaries pen from Shelly Can, my Black Lives Matter, and my Rainbow Unity pen from Neighborhood Fiber Companies. And here I have another set of Valentine's Day socks, because I was on kind of a Valentine's Day yarn kick this year. So these are another pair of just plain vanilla socks, the Mina's 2 at a Time sock pattern by Knitting Expat, Mina Phillip. You'll see I've got both of them on here. This yarn is on the ground. This yarn is from Mud Punch, and it's her Endeavor fingering base. And it is colorway Little Pink Stars, and it came with a coordinated mini. This one is called Blistered Heart. So I did a little bit of the Blistered Heart for the cast on, and then 1 round, and then I switched to the main color. And then I will be doing the heels and the toes in the Blistered Heart, and the rest of it will just be vanilla stockinette in the Little Pink Stars. I am doing 64 stitches, US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter, as you can see, 2 at a time. I'm too lazy to wind the yarn into 2 balls, so I'm pulling from the inside and the outside. And while it looks like a mess here, while I'm knitting it, it's, as long as I'm paying attention and I remember to turn the bag the right way when I get to the end of a row, it's really not a problem at all. I rarely ever have any issues with it getting too tangled. So there is a tutorial on Mina's channel, on the Knitting Expat Design channel, from several years ago, where she shows how she knits socks 2 at a time with the yarn in her bag. She does have 2 balls, but how she does it is how I learned how to knit 2 at a time socks. So that's a video on her channel. And I think that's all I've got to say about those. Just like to have a pair of vanilla socks on the needles. No rush on these since Valentine's Day is over, though I'll wear them whenever I get them finished. And that is it for whips. I am going to move on to stash enhancement. For those of you who have no interest in being enabled, which I totally understand, because one of my things that I'm going to show, I was enabled from 2 of them actually from other podcasts. So I totally get it. Thank you for joining me today. Hope to see you next time. Hopefully it'll be sooner than 2 months. if you're sticking around. All right, let's get started. Some of what I'm going to show is things that I was gifted for the holidays, and I've just been holding on to them because I wanted to show them on the podcast. So they're all knitting related or knitting adjacent or really just sheepy related. Like this first one, which is a set of pot holders with sheep on them that was gifted to me by my mother, and I love them, and now I can go use them. But I've been holding them to show everybody. I have no idea where she got them. The tag is not there. They have sheep on them, but they're 100% cotton, so there's that, which I mean makes sense, but anyway. So yeah, black on the back. Okay, sheepy. Then I have this little cup of goodness here. Man. So a couple more little just knickknacks that I have no idea where they came from. They were gifts for Christmas in my stocking. But I got this super cute little llama. And he's got a little cutout so I can put him on a shelf. So I'm going to try and find a place to put him back here. There we go. She also got me this wool rainbow because I love rainbows. It's made out of yarn. She got me one last year that was, it's a little ornament to go on my tree. It was glass and I dropped it before I even got it on the tree. So this time she gave me a not glass one. And this little felted sheep ornament. Well, it's supposed to be an ornament. I don't see where that. But so cute. I'll go up here too. Put him over there. And then a friend of mine got this for me off of Etsy from the shop Susan's Sweet Squeeze. Totally adorbs art. It's a it's an enamel pen, and it says, oh, let me take it out of the package. Sorry for the crackling. There'll be quite a bit of it. So it says Bisexual, and it's got the hook and the needles. Since I identify as bisexual, she thought it was really funny. This was a gift from a friend. I actually don't crochet much, or really at all, but it's been a goal for several years now to teach myself. So now maybe since I have the pin, I'll get that taken care of. And then lastly, this was a gift from my brother and his girlfriend. It's from Lenny Mud. It's a website that you can go and order, but it's this really cute mug. I knit so I don't choke people, save a life, send yarn. And then it has the heart with the needles on the back. I just love it. I have used it a few times, but I wanted to make sure I showed it off. It's one of my favorites. It's nice and big, very heavy. You can get yarn bowls with this saying on it. They have crochet ones that say the same thing. They have all kinds of, they also have non-knitting related things. They're not just knitting. They have all kinds of things on the website. So I linked that below. It's very cute. I apologize if you can hear the cat meowing. He really wants in this room, and I've kicked him out so he doesn't knock everything over. So. Okay, a couple more gifts. I had seen this on several other people's podcasts, so I requested that somebody get this for me for Christmas. So my friend got me the Two Sheeps 2021 calendar for Christmas with the different colorways. This is a really great calendar. 2021 calendar focuses on North American independent yarn dyers and is not just a calendar. Each dyer has created an exclusive colorway that you can purchase. They will sell the limited volume of each colorway 1 year from the first day of each dyer's for 1 year from the first day of each dyer's calendar month. So you can go to twosheeps.com, which I've linked below. You can still, I think, get the calendars at a highly discounted price. They also have a statement on the back here. It says, Two Sheeps LLC is strongly committed to anti-racism. We support and defend the rights of all humans, regardless of skin color, religion, gender identity, culture, religiosity, size, ability, etc., to be respected and treated equally. We are committed to collaborating with people who are diverse in all manners in order to put these ideals into action. We support nonprofit organizations whose mission is to promote these goals. We will not allow any racist, homophobic, xenophobic, or other hate-based comments on our social media page or in any other communication. So I think that that's awesome. They're a great organization. They have other products on their website that you can buy as well. So please check them out. And I have been using this calendar here in my knitting room, but I'm actually going to put it in my kitchen. Here's the February one. Let's see who the dyer is. I knew Ex Libris Fibers creates bookish hand-dyed yarn for fiber artists. 2021 was January was Wedgwood Fibers. So each month is a new yarn dyer. And again, you can buy the yarns on their website. The specialty yarns, March March is Siren Fiber Arts. It's a very pretty green. So check them out. 2 sheets fiber. That was a gift for Christmas that I asked for. Also for Christmas, this was something I asked for, was the, oh, here's the tag for the Linny mug. Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn by Stephanie Lotvin, who's Tellybean Knits on Instagram. I saw this book and immediately knew I had to have it. It has amazing patterns in it. But the real reason I wanted to, this was the first pattern I saw and I knew I wanted to knit it. I have yarn picked out, I think, for it. So, or I may buy yarn, but it has, look at that one. It has all different kinds. It has mittens, hats, cowls, shawls, and sweaters. So it has something for everybody. The mittens on the front. It has, I have this yarn in my stash. That's Nomadic Yarns. That's the same yarn as I knit those first 2 pairs of socks with. With this one. She just has amazing, I mean, there's just some really amazing patterns in here, all with self-striping yarn. So if you're looking for something to do with self-striping yarn that is not, you know, socks, check this book out. I believe the person who got this for me got it on Amazon, but it is definitely a book that might be carried in some of your little local yarn stores. So LYSs, check those out first. Make sure you're supporting those small businesses. Stephanie Lotvin, Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn. I'm excited to dive into that. Okay, I think those were, no, I have one more gift here that was yarn. So a friend of mine, since I am bisexual, same one that got me the bi-stitch wool, she went on Etsy and just searched for bisexual yarn, and this is what she came up with. It's a yarn dyer that's new to me. It looked like the shop was on hiatus for the moment, but they did just buy it in December, so hopefully they'll be back. It's called Tofu Bean, and this is her Cumulus fingering, which is 100% extra fine 17 micron superwash merino, 100 grams, 420 yards, and this is Porqueño Los Dos, which is the bisexual colorway. And it is stunning. I can't decide if I want to do a pair of the mitts or from that book, or a pair of socks, or a hat, or maybe I could do with mitts and a hat. I think there might be enough yarn for that. Anyway, I'm super excited about this. It's gorgeous, and I cannot wait. This probably, if I decide to do socks, then I'll hold it for Pride Month when I do my Pride Sockathon in June. But I'm not sure. So that was a gift. Thank you to my friend who does not watch, so she won't know. Okay, that is everything that was gifted. So let's move on to things that I purchased. I purchased a couple of pins from, there's the card, Shawnee, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, Shawnee P's Corner. I hope, I'm really sorry, I hope I'm saying your name right. There's the tag. She has a website, I've linked it below. I got this really cute sticker in there from the Desk of Shawnee. Okay, and I got 2. She makes enamel pins, so I got 2. This one is the Have Yarn Will Travel one. I can't tell if you're, it's got yarn balls on the top. Sorry, it's not focusing very well. I record on my iPad. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that before. And I did get a new microphone for Christmas. But I need a special hookup to hook it up to my iPad, and I have not purchased that yet. So I'm hoping to do that before I get recording again. And then I purchased one more from Shawnee. This is the Rainbow Fade, Rainbow Advent. So that'll probably go on my rainbow bag, like all my other rainbow pins. They kind of all end up there. They're great. Check her out if you're looking. She has some great Queen of Yarn pins. She has a monthly pin club that you can join. So if you love enamel pins, please make sure to check her out. She is a BIPOC maker, so definitely somebody to support. She has amazing products. Okay, everything else I have to show is yarn. So, one of my favorite dyers of all time, which I've talked about a lot on this show, is Teeny Button Studio. She is Robin out of New Orleans. She dyes yarn, and she's a huge Taylor Swift fan, as am I. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that on the podcast before, but I am. So she dyed colorway for Taylor Swift's album Evermore when it was announced. So that is this colorway. This is the Evermore color on soft sock. It's 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 463 yards. I think this is available as a pre-order in her shop. And at the same time, I threw this in my cart. It's Tweedy sock, 85% superwash merino, 15% Donegal tweed, 438 yards. And this is the Golden Oak colorway. I didn't realize when I threw them together how well they go together. I'm not sure if I'll use them together or not, but they are beautiful. She also recently released, Robin did a colorway for the song, Taylor Swift song Love Story, which I ordered that yarn when she pre-ordered it, and it was shipped and it's lost in the mail. So I'm hoping that by the next time I record, I will have that. She also has sock clubs where you buy 1 month at a time. They're 3 months, but you only buy 1 month at a time. And starting in March, one of her sock clubs is Taylor Swift themed. So I signed up for that. So I'll get those, but I won't get that until the end of March, the first one. So if you're a Taylor Swift fan at all, check those out. Okay, next up, I'm going to show you these two yarns. They are no longer available. They were special orders, one-time only kind of things from another of my all-time favorite dyers, Neighborhood Fiber Company. She's also a dyer of color, black dyer. So check her out, Karita Collins, over at Neighborhood Fiber Company. I've talked about them a lot. So these colors were dyed specifically for Stacey Abrams and Kamala Harris. So this is the Stacey Abrams colorway. It's called Fair Fight. And this one is called Observatory Circle, which, if you don't know, that is where, if you're not a U.S. resident, or even if you are and you don't know this, that is where the Vice President lives. That's the location of the Vice President. The Vice President does not live at the White House. They live at Observatory Circle. There's a name for the building there, but I can't remember it. But anyway, so those are two... they are not available, two colors from her. They are not available anymore. I got them both on Studio Sock, which is 100% organic merino, 400 yards a piece. I think they go really well together. I also think they go really well with my this is my Michelle Obama colorway from them. So I might do something with all three of them. Kind of can't believe I was able to just pull that right off the shelf there. That was pretty amazing. Okay, so that's Neighborhood Fiber Company. Check her out, even if you can't get those colors. She's amazing. I talk about her all the time. One of my favorites. Okay, from Moonstone Dieworks, also another one of my favorites that I've fallen in love with. Tommy over at the Moonstone Makes, used to be Squirrel Pie Productions, now it's Moonstone Makes podcast. She owns Moonstone Dieworks. She does small batch dyeing. It's all beautiful. She did a couple of Valentine's Day colorways, but not traditional Valentine's Day colorways. I fell in love with them, had to buy them. So this one is Dead Flowers, and this one is Ashes of Love. I love them. These are both on her BFL sock, 80% superwash blue face Leicester, 20% nylon, 400 yards a piece. They're beautiful together. Not sure if they'll go together. Probably just be socks. Maybe a hat with this one because it's such a light color. I don't like doing socks in light colors anymore. I just ruin them. I bought this ages ago, back in November, I think, and then it got lost in the mail because it was coming from Canada. But I bought from the, I can't remember if I bought it from, I think I bought it from the Little Red Mitten website, which is a yarn store in Ontario, Canada. But the owners of the Little Red Mitten yarn store own the Leo and Roxy Yarn Company. They dye hand-dyed yarn. They also have a podcast called The Little Red Mitten. So this is one of their colorways, and I love their colors. I have another skein of their yarn that I purchased in a kit from Grocery Girls, but I really just was perusing the website after watching the podcast, and I fell in love with this color. It's called Betray, and it's 80-20 merino nylon It's their 80/20 sock. 100% good vibes. I just saw that. That's really cute. 420 yards. So the tray. And they had these, they showed them on their website, or on their podcast. So they had these super cute little sock sacks, drawstring sock sacks. They're just a little tiny. I think it's, you'll have to check out their website. I'll make sure to link it below for these sacks. I can't remember who the maker of the sacks. Oh, it's in here. J. Henry Design Co. J. Henry Design Co. They're very well made. They're canvas. This was the small size. This was the sock sack size. They have bigger ones. So, super cute. I will definitely be using that here soon. I made a purchase from my local yarn store, which I hadn't done in a while. So I needed, sorry, it's going to be a little loud here for a second. I needed some things that I knew specifically that they carried. So I purchased some more of the Frog Tree Sport Alpaca Sport Melange, which I make the lovable toys out of. So I got 2 of each color. I like to just have some on hand. I have a whole stash of it, a whole bunch, up behind my little, up behind this guy. All of that over there is that. So I got several colors. I got some more of the rust and brown in case Mr. Bear goes missing again. So that was just a kind of a restash because I had to order. Another friend of mine is pregnant. And this will be her third. Each of her children has received a baby blanket from me, knit out of Malabrigo Rios. So I bought another colorway of that. The baby will be born this summer. So this is the Sunset colorway. Malabrigo Rios is their superwash merino wool. It's a worsted weight, 210 yards for 100 grams. So I got 4 skeins of this. I love Rios for baby blankets. It's superwash. It's beautiful. It's bright, vibrant colors, not pastel-y baby colors, which is definitely my thing. So I usually alternate skeins when I'm doing the baby blankets because it is highly variegated even when they look similar. So I have 4 skeins of that. So all of that was purchased from my local yarn store. We have 3 here in Omaha. That was from one of them, the Personal Threads Boutique. I will put their shop link below. They do ship. They have a great, they have a huge web store. All of their products are available online. So if you're looking for a local yarn store that ships, they are one of them. I had the pleasure of sitting in, I had joined a knit night event for Knit City that was hosted by Gigi Made It, the Grocery Girls, and Amy of Le Bien-Aimé Yarn. And Amy was very kind and offered a discount code for the weekend to all of the participants of that who had bought a ticket to that knit night event. And so since her yarn ships from Paris and is not, it's not always in the budget, I decided that it would be a good time to use that coupon code and order a sweater's quantity of yarn. So I did. So I have this whole bag of Le Bien-Aimé. So I got two yarns, intending to use them in one sweater. I bought her sport weight base. This is Merino Sport. It's 355 yards for 100 grams, 100% superwash merino. The colorway is caramel. And then to go with it, I bought the Mohair Silk, which is 547 yards, 70% mohair, 30% silk, also in the caramel colorway. I will hold these together. I have a pattern in mind, but I'm not sure that what I'm gonna do, so I'll let you guys know once I cast on. But it's gorgeous and I love it. That was definitely a splurge, but I'm excited that I have it. Okay. I was watching a podcast and somebody had a new to them dyer out who's just started dyeing at the beginning of the year. It is Amplifiber Indie Dyed Yarn. Let's see if I can. Amplifiber. Out of Virginia. So I went on her Etsy shop. Sorry for the crinkling. And I tried 3 different bases in 3 different colorways. They're all incredibly soft and they're beautiful. So Amplifiber, this is her 4-ply merino sock fingering, 85% merino, superwash merino, 15% nylon, 440 yards. This colorway is Walking Lightly. It's gorgeous. This one is the one that caught my eye when I saw it on the other podcast, so I had to get a skein of it. This is Library Magic on her 3-ply merino sock fingering. It's 75-25, 415 yards. Look at those speckles. I love the colors. And then final one that I purchased is Huckleberry Buckle 2-ply Highland sock fingering, 80% superwash fine Highland wool, 20% polyamide, and it's 357 yards. This is closer to a sport weight base for me, 357 yards for 100 grams, but I think they would make excellent sport weight socks. So that's probably what that will be. They all do look really good together. So again, that's Amplifiber Yarn. Indie Dyed Yarn Studio. Yarn is my jam is her little tagline. She's got a sheep wearing headphones and a boombox. Super cute. So Amplifiber Yarn. You can follow her on Instagram or she's on Etsy. Brand new dyer. Beautiful stuff. I really love her colorways. And she did send a coupon code for me for the next time I want to shop. That's always a nice incentive. Okay. Last bit of yarn. Unfortunately, it's kind of a lot. The whole box. I placed an order with Knit Picks, who, you know, if you shop with Knit Picks, then you know. Sometimes you just, stuff ends up in your cart and you're not really sure how you got there. So I went on to buy a sweater quantity. I'm not going to take this out of the plastic, so it will crinkle a little bit, of this Wonder Fluff, which is what I got here. This is a bulky weight yarn, and I got the color Black Cherry Heather. I bought 10 balls of this to make the Wave of Change pullover by Denise Bayron Handmade. I'm sorry, I always mispronounce her name. Okay, so that's what I went on for. Other things popped into my cart. I got 2 skeins of the Capra in this Tansy Heather colorway. Capra's DK weight, and it is 85 merino, 15% cashmere, so it's very soft. So I got 2 skeins in the Tansy Heather and 2 skeins in the Moonstone Heather. And I'm planning to use these along with the 2 skeins of a Loft that I purchased, which is their mohair silk lace weight in the colorway Kanai. So I'm using these all together to make a Snuggle is Real cowl by Max the Knitter, Maxim Sear. Max the Knitter is his Instagram handle. So it's a DK weight cowl that you line with mohair or Surrey. And then they had some of their Felici worsted weight. So I want to make a hat out of this Time Traveler colorway. Just a stocking cap with stripes in it. I got 2 new colorways of Felici. I got 2 balls of each color. So this one is Lost Lakes. And this one is Punch Bug. And I hadn't had either of these colors before, so I have 2 of each ball now. Sorry, so I've got 2 of those and 2 of the Punch Bug. And then I bought 3 more colorways of Dishy Multi, because we all know I love dishcloths. So Dishy Multi, this one is the Dandelion Patch colorway. This one is the Starfish colorway. And this one is the Route 66 colorway. And that's it. That's what I got. That's all of my stash enhancement and gifts. That's it. Okay. Let me check my notes. The only thing I have left to chat about is my knitting goals for the upcoming couple of weeks. And my knitting goals are to keep knitting things that I enjoy. So I hope that that means that I will get some work done on my parents' sweaters. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm really enjoying. I have a lot of knitting mojo right now. I do have a severe case of castonitis. I'm actually surprised there were only 4 whips to show you today. So I expect that I will cast on quite a few more things in the next coming weeks, but that's what's bringing me joy right now. I know just a little bit of life chatter. It has been 2 months since I last podcast. Part of that is because I work in payroll here in the US, and payroll is busiest from, I'd say, around the 1st of November until the end of February, when everything is has to be filed with the federal government. So as of Friday, we were finished with our filings. So I finally, this is the first moment as of yesterday, that I've had to really feel free to spend my free time talking to you guys. I just don't always have the brain capacity to do that during my busy months. So unfortunately, I think that means that going forward in the future, if I continue to podcast, which I plan to, that those months that are really busy, I might only get 1 podcast out a month, if that. But I'm hoping here in the next few weeks and months that I will go back to maybe not every week like I was doing when I first started, but podcasting hopefully every 2 to 3 weeks once I have some things to show. So thank you so much for those of you who have reached out and asked if I'm going to podcast soon, for checking on me. I really appreciate it. It's just been crazy time of year for me. But I'm back. I'm happy to be podcasting. I hope to be back in just a couple of weeks. And again, thank you for checking out my podcast, and I hope you all have a great day, week, month, year, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.